Welcome to the Firebelly Social Show. We're focused on talking to food and beverage brands that are on a mission to make the world better.
Hey, everyone. So excited to have you join another episode of the Firebelly Social Show. Welcome. I'm your host, Duncan, and I've got my co-host here, Arnell. Arnell, what's up?
Hey, Duncan, what's up? And thanks, everyone, for tuning in to this latest episode of the Firebelly Social Show. We have a great show lined up for you today, talking with Nolan, Executive Director of the Food Innovation Center. This episode is brought to you by Firebelly Marketing. At Firebelly, we help mission-based food and beverage brands bring people closer through social media marketing. So if you're ready to use social media to create more community and excitement around your food and beverage brand, go to firebellymarketing.com to learn more.
And Nolan, please welcome. We're so excited to have you here.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity, Duncan and Arnell, and it's my pleasure to be here.
It seems like we kind of serve similar audiences where this show in particular is about featuring people, founders, CEOs, leaders who are on a mission to make the world a better place. And I think you self-describedly are on a mission that is similar. Can you share your mission and also a little bit more about yourself?
Absolutely. Thank you. So quite simply, I work for the University of State of New Jersey, which is Rutgers University. It is a land-grant university, which means we have ties directly to the university, to the experiment stations, the outreaches that each county has. And our mission statement is pretty simple and straightforward as well. We're here to help create economic growth, development, and create jobs for the local community in the region. We're located in the southern part of the state, about as far south as you can go before you hit the water in the Delaware Bay. And we were put here by the university specifically to help with the agricultural farmers that are in this part of the state. So Jersey tomatoes, spinach, eggplant, blueberries, cranberries. These are all extensions that we work with and help them add value to their crops. But we do a lot of different type of work. Our scope is very broad in terms of our capabilities here. We have a bottling line. We have kettles that we can cook product in. And the unique feature about what we do at Rutgers Food Innovation Center is that we're one of the only universities in the world that actually has the capability of creating a prototype and manufacturing it all under one roof. And that manufactured product can be sold into the market. Many of the innovation centers or research facilities don't have that capability, while we do.
Very cool. So innovation is obviously a really big part of what you guys do. Tell us a little bit more about what the innovation experience is like there.
Yeah, so every day is a different project for us. It makes life really exciting. I come from the corporate world. My background is in manufacturing and operations. I actually helped scale up a couple of really iconic brands prior to my arrival here at Rutgers. So namely, I was the plant manager for the Bai beverage, BAI, if you're familiar with the flavored water. I did a lot of private label work for Trader Joe's, Wawa, Peter Luger's, to name a few, along with other markets in the New York City metro area. But basically, we focus on anyone who wants to commercialize a brand or create and bring their new product or an upgraded product to market. So we're pretty wide open in terms of our capabilities. Marketing is something that we also help with. We do a lot of food safety, food defense. So we have trainers who are actually who go out to other facilities and inspect as a gap audit or as a third-party independent audit facility. And our own R&D people, where we can actually help formulate and do alternate ingredients, sourcing, nutritional labels, all the things that you would expect to find at a food research facility.
Very cool. It seems like, because I know we talked earlier, you mentioned that although the Innovation Center is a part of the university, you don't have to be a student to participate in it. You help people who have ideas from the beginning, from incubation, all the way to established companies who are looking to just do something different and do something really unique. What is something, maybe something you would recommend for a somebody starting out wanting to have a CPG product? What are some of the recommendations that you would give to them?
Well, one of the earliest memories I have of clients coming to me was that I had someone come in and put a bottle on a table and said, I want to make this product for the masses. And it was an exact copy of a product that was already out in the market. They didn't know that. So when I said, oh, this is like XYZ, they were like, oh, I never heard of them before. And when I looked at the ingredients, shockingly, it was almost, item for item, the same exact ingredients. And I thought the guy was pranking me a little bit. And I said, no, this guy really doesn't know. But having people do their homework and just do a Google search on your product and figure out, is there a need for the product? Who's looking for it? What's the price they're willing to pay? A lot of the products that we develop, because they're very manual or labor intensive here, requires a higher price point. So we're not going to help make a lot of products that you're going to find, very low dollar amounts at Walmart or some of the less expensive stores. Most of what we do is premium or super premium, because everybody now is looking for clean labels, no preservatives, no artificial colors. And that's what we really strive to do. And that unfortunately costs a little bit more money to do because those ingredients tend to be more expensive.
It really is a great program. I mean, I know yesterday, some of us are in Indianapolis, Arnell's in California, but we had a entrepreneur come in to meet with us, and we were under the impression that, she had a product and she was selling in the open market. And turns out that she does have a product. It's a savory cookie, and she has 6 or 7 of them. They're very, very good. But she has the product. It's been in stores. It's been all over the place, but she can't produce it at scale. And so she's found a co-manufacturer, but now she has to raise money to be able to get in there. And it's very unique to see, we hadn't really met anyone in that position before. So it's like really a wonderful education for us to see all that really goes into that entrepreneur journey.
Yeah, it's incredible. We have quite a few people who come in exactly in that position where they've made things either in their homes or in a shared kitchen space. There's tons of those facilities around here in New Jersey, New York metro area as well. But they get to that certain point, and this is where we like to think we kind of fill the gap because they've outgrown their shared kitchen space, or they need the oversight from FDA or USDA, which we have, and they can't go to a co-packer yet because they won't be able to meet the minimums. So we fill that gap between a couple of dozen, a couple hundred pieces to maybe a couple thousand, where they need to get to the co-packers. And we help them just kind of continue to commercialize and grow their business. And that's exactly what we did with our most famous client that we ever had come through here, which was Impossible Foods. The Impossible Burger actually started here in Bridgeton, New Jersey at Rutgers. When they came in, they were just a company called Impossible Foods. No one knew who they were. No one had heard of them, but they were a plant-based alternative hamburger, meat product that turned into the most successful $1 billion value company in plant-based alternatives. But we helped them commercialize. We helped them grow their capabilities and put things into packages and label and follow food defense and hiring local people to manufacture the product for them because they were based in California. So we kind of covered all those ground areas that they didn't have the expertise in. Very smart scientists from California who knew how to create their secret sauce, their secret ingredient. But when it came to actually putting it into a package, they were lost. And that's where we stepped in and helped them actually continue to grow their growth.
That's really cool. One of the things that you mentioned that I thought was really interesting is that you mentioned you really only focus on healthy ingredients, food that is good for you. And as Duncan and I have been doing these podcasts, health and wellness has been at the forefront of these food innovation entrepreneurs and brands. And it's really interesting to see. And so I wanted to ask you, what are some of your predictions? What are some of the things you see that are trending in the innovation space? Where do you think it's going?
So a lot, we had Impossible here in 2015. That was kind of the beginning phases of plant-based alternatives, everything. And I have to laugh a little bit. Someone came to us last year or so ago and said, "Hey, I've got a plant-based butter." I said, "Plant-based butter?" I said, "You mean margarine?" And they're like, no, this is a plant-based butter. And I'm like, okay. I said, they used to call it margarine, but fine, let's play along and see what you have. But it really was a version of margarine that they had developed, not realizing that it was that close. But, the innovation that we've seen in the last, 10, 15 years is really geared toward better for you, healthier for you. Even food as medicine is becoming, so ingrained. And I have 3 kids. I have a millennial and 2 Gen Zs. So my millennial, he's really cheap. He doesn't want to spend $8 for a bottle of fresh pressed juice. My 22-year-old daughter, she'll spend $10 for that bottle of fresh pressed juice. And because she knows that it's healthier, it's better. She doesn't mind, paying for that. But, as far as trends are concerned, plant-based is still very strong. We've seen a little bit of a setback. You probably read stories about Beyond Meat, slipping back a little bit. Impossible continues to grow strong and branch out into its different innovative products, including whole muscle meats. But we're seeing cell-based meat, actually the actual cells, biological cells of fish, meat, and chicken that are grown in a lab setting. That's growing quite a bit. Mycelium, which is the roots of a mushroom, are a tremendous protein source that's been around for a number of years. There's a company called Corn, QURN, I believe it is, that started using this mycelium as a protein source alternate. And we have quite a few clients internationally that want to come into our center. We have a company from Israel that is trying to come into our center. We're trying to get them in here. That processes this mycelium-based root and offers it as an ingredient to mix into other meat products or other products. So it's a kind of an extender, plant-based, actually very good for you, and is easy to manufacture.
That's super interesting. We've seen that as well in our work where mushroom is being used, for its various qualities in drinks. And that's fascinating. Are you seeing anything with the way people are selecting or you're helping people to select ingredients? Is there a shift happening there?
Yeah, we've seen quite a shift. Mushrooms, as you mentioned, are quite popular. So Rici mushroom, chaga mushroom, these all have health benefits. They say we're very careful about what we allow our clients to put onto their label, because the FDA is pretty tough on any claims. Everything has to be backed up by published scientific material. So you can't say helps increase brain function if you don't have any proof of that actually, curing cancer or whatever. So, but it is a known fact that a lot of these ingredients, like the chaga, do have beneficial properties to them. But we we take it one step back from the supplemental ingredients having claims on them, but we do encourage their use. We have quite a few people who are using them.
That's super cool. Now, I was able to find this very interesting piece of information about you, that you and your wife continue to operate a food truck, which just blew my mind away. It's like, man, Nolan is such a fascinating guy. He's scaled up billion-dollar brands, and he runs a food truck. We got to know the story.
So the short story is 15, 16 years ago, I used to own a retail store in East Brunswick, New Jersey called American Harvest. And we had that store for about 16 years. So from the 80s up until 2000s. And one of the things we did at that retail location was that on the weekends, we'd have a pig roast and like kind of a barbecue. When I sold that business in the late 2000s, my wife needed a job. So she decided to continue catering. And we did events all around the state of New Jersey into New York City. We did catering at Central Park in New York City for Chrissy Hines and the Pretenders, if you're old enough to know who she was. And for the Live Nation concert series, we fed 40,000 people a vegan barbecue in 2001, 2002. So very cool stuff. And then we continue to pick and choose now venues that are closer to home. We don't really do 40,000 people events anymore. It's more like, a couple thousand people. We do benefits runs for people in the local community that we'd like to help out. But yeah, so this weekend we actually have an event in the town where I live in Medford, New Jersey. There's an art and wine festival, so we'll be there selling pulled pork and barbecue and sausages and having a good time, getting out in the sun and hopefully not getting rained on.
That's fascinating. I love that dichotomy. It's like you're scaling and then you're still operating at that level. That is just fascinating. What are you excited about in general right now when it comes to innovation? I know innovation is a core part of your makeup. What are you excited about?
I mean, every day for us, it's a learning event here at the Food Innovation Center. We have opportunities to work with so many different people. We're exploring an opportunity now to work with our northernmost campus in Newark, New Jersey, part of Rutgers, where we're working with the Business Action Center there and helping local community people get into the food and beverage business, including even some food truck people. I'm happy to coach and mentor those type of people who want that and need that. I do that on my own. But I just, every day is just a different adventure for me, and seeing the continuation of this and the stream of innovation that's coming to food and beverage is just incredible. Just when you thought you'd seen all the barbecue sauces and all the hot sauces, there's another one coming down the road. So it's exciting for me.
That's well, innovation is just really at its core, like you're solving problems.
Yeah.
Is that an oversimplification or is that accurate?
Well, I mean, look, you can't solve a problem unless there's a need, right? So, and there is a need. Someone's always looking to do something that hasn't been done before. And sometimes there's a reason why it can't be done that way. But we do explore those opportunities with folks who want to dedicate time and energy to it, if it's feasible. But one of the things, and this is the most important thing I tell people all the time, if you want to work with us, you've got to be coachable. And that means sometimes I'm going to tell you, no, that's not a good idea. Don't do that, because we've had the experience or had people try and do it before, and it just wasn't successful. But people will come to me and say, yeah, I got my kids' my kids' college fund that I want to spend, or my 401k on this product. And if it's not a really good differentiated product, if it's the same as something that's out there a dozen or more times, we come to think twice about doing that. And that's sometimes people call me Uncle Kevin from the Shark Tank, but I'd rather be upfront and straightforward with folks and be honest with them. And by the way, we have a few clients, more than a few, who've been on Shark Tank that are clients of ours now.
That's amazing. Love the work that you're doing. Oh no, looks like you got a question over there.
Yeah, so then the perfect segue, mentioning your clients that you've worked with on Shark Tank. What are some of the big success stories that you're really excited to share?
Well, the ones who've been on Shark Tank, you can look up these episodes, I'm sure, easily. But Dr. Juan Salinas with Peanuff, he's actually a Rutgers graduate as well. He did a protein peanut butter puff snack. He continues to do some innovative things on his own. He actually has his own facility in northern New Jersey. He's actually very well known, if people remember, when he appeared on Shark Tank, of tearing his shirt off. And he happens to be a bodybuilder who eats high protein, which is why he developed the snack. And Mark Cuban and Laura Grenier took a deal with him. But we've had things like plant-based bacon products that were here that showed up, and I think Laura Grenier invested in them. Another client that we've worked with in the past was a finger food painting style product that was in tubes for a client. I can't remember his name, of course, right off the top of my head. But we dealt with, as I mentioned before, plant-based companies. The most recent one we had here was Sundial Foods. They make a plant-based chicken wing. They make it boneless and with a bone, which is the stick inside the meat. Simulate, which makes chicken nuggets, plant-based, was also affiliated with some of the things that we've done here. Chank's food cones. They make actually like a pizza style cone with different food fillings in it. They've been on QVC and other. They were some of the major venues here around the country and the United States. So there's Angel Planet Foods, vegetarian and plant-based Indian and Chinese style food that's available in some of the markets here. Realty, RYLTEA company. Actually, they're former Buy employees who I've worked with in the past, and they came up with this Better For You sweet tea. They just aligned with a country singer, Waylon, I think was his name. And I mean, I can go on. There's a bunch.
Amazing. That's amazing. You sound like such a busy guy.
I'm not too bored. There's not too many times I come home and my wife asks me how my day was, and I say, "Oh, it was kind of boring." That doesn't happen too much.
Yeah. How do you, as a busy guy, how do you relax? What do you do to rest or recover?
You've been talking to my wife, Arnella. I know it's
Totally.
she'll tell you. I mean, it's hard for me to really kick back for more than a couple days. I don't go on like 2-week-long cruises and things like that. I just can't do that. But I like to get out into nature. My daughter and her fiance just got back. She graduated from Rutgers, as I said. She was out of Yellowstone and all the national parks out there. And my wife and I want to do that at some point too. She's like, "Oh, we'll just rent an RV and drive there." I'm like, unless you have a mouse in your pocket, I don't see any we here in this thing, because I'm the one who's going to be doing all the driving. But just getting out to nature, trying to relax a little bit, seeing sights. And we love to, believe it or not, we like to go and check out other food venues and farmers markets and things like that. Those are really cool. If you go to other countries, you just love walking around their farmers markets or their food halls and seeing what they do and how they eat and how they enjoy food.
Very cool.
I mean, you know what is just so interesting? The two things that I'm taking away from all of this is how truly unique the Food Innovation Center really is, and how more people need to know about it, because there's so many entrepreneurs that could avoid, you know, losing their dreams or failing at their work if they just had the right people. You know, there's all kinds of tech incubators and tech innovation centers, but you know, I don't know that kind of like inclusive, collaborative, you know, environment exists, or people don't know that it exists for food and beverage startups. And the second part is like how uniquely qualified you are in your leadership role there, having seen so much of this that you've done and been there. And I guess, you know, let's from those kind of editorial remarks of mine, you know, do more people need to know about the Food Innovation Center? Do you think that it's well known enough, or is it still sort of like a well-kept secret?
It is probably a very well-kept secret. And we really do want more people to know about it. We're not slow. We certainly have enough business to keep us busy. But one of the things that we have to make sure that we do is continue to have a flow of people that are coming through our facility and helping as many people as we can.
And that's it. That is an excellent point. And I guess, you know, if you were in an elevator, you know, with, you know, some food entrepreneurs, to help us, how would you describe, you know, in a couple of sentences what you do?
So my elevator pitch would be that we are a incubator, commercialization, accelerator that has the capability of creating and manufacturing products from ideation to commercialization, you know, just being able to sell a product.
That's super cool. I love it.
Awesome.
Arnell, did you have any other questions? I have one more, but I'll let you go first.
You go, Duncan.
I was just going to ask, like, what part does marketing play in this whole ecosystem? You know, you're getting them ready to market. In some cases, you're involved even through the scale up from the Food Innovation Center. What role does marketing play in their journeys as it comes to your intersection with them?
Well, because most of the clients that we work with are very early stage, most of them are pre-revenue. They haven't even thought about, you know, long-term marketing or finance or regulatory. You know, a lot of that has to be taught to them. We're affiliated with Specialty Food Association, the fancy food show. I don't know if I mentioned this, but we're the actual judges for the Specialty Food Show.
Oh, wow.
This is our 4th year, and we pick all the Sophie winners at the show that's coming up in June, the end of June. And we also have space in the show in the incubator village, along with some of the other large incubators around the country, such as the Hatchery out of Chicago, Oregon State, Commonwealth Kitchen in Boston, Cornell. So we're a good company there, but having the ability to also outsource, you know, sometimes we're not the right fit for a couple of people, and we're happy to point them in the right direction for another incubator that might have specialization in, for example, meat from Colorado State or fish from University of Maine. So we're happy to work collaboratively with virtually everybody, and marketing, the role, to answer your question, can come into play at any point in time where the clients feel they're ready to enter market, whether they're doing that online, virtually through Amazon or other direct, you know, consumer to business, business to consumer marketing or whatever. But there's so many different aspects of how marketing can play a role in helping them to enter the market. I think, you know, working with the, you know, a marketing company like yours, for example, would be an asset and help them to get more exposure. That's the name of the game. How many pairs of eyes are going to see your product wherever it is?
And it's interesting too. I know one of the things that we talked to an entrepreneur by the name of Arshad Bal, and his product is Amrita Food Products. And I think is he on the East Coast, Arnell? I can't remember now.
I believe so. Yeah.
And he is doing kind of a different journey where he's been in all the big stores, and he just found that he had to come away from the stores, develop his own audience, and sell directly to the audience in order to make the margins that he needs for compensation for his team and to like live a comfortable life, as opposed to this sort of like, and also like capital has, the capital situation has changed a little bit. And so I just wondered, have you seen that kind of thing? And I know that's kind of a long rambling question, but are you seeing that where the audience that the brand develops for itself is becoming, I think, more and more important than it was in the past, because you had this other sort of like dependable distribution channels?
Yeah, and I think the short answer to that is that what people thought their product was aimed at, their target audience, is usually wrong. They think for whatever reason, and I think a large part of that is people tend to think because they like it and they're in a particular bracket that's who they're catering to. But the byproduct is a great example. When Ben Weiss developed the Bai drink in 2010, he specifically designed the bottle to be held by a woman's hand. It's hard to understand that concept, but that's in fact what he did.
Yeah.
And, right. So, and then of course the 5-calorie content appealed to, people who were always on a diet or trying to lose weight or whatever. But it turns out his target audience wasn't the 25 to 45-year-old woman. It was the 18 to 65-year-old person who just wanted to have a 5-calorie drink that had some, antioxidants in it from the vitamin C. So it was a much broader target, a much broader audience. When he went to his new brand, Crook and Marker, he sells an alcoholic beverage now that he still owns. He didn't make that mistake. This time he went out and said, okay, who is my audience? Who's my target? And they defined it. And it was, in fact, 18 to 30-year-olds who wanted a hard seltzer, the White Claw group that does that. So he learned how to look at what marketing meant to him and who his audience was. And I think a lot of the clients that we deal with are similar. They're not sure who their audience is, but once they determine who that is, they're very good at tuning into that.
That's a wonderful insight, Nolan. Thank you so much. And thank you for being so generous with your time today and sharing your wealth of industry, very specific insights and intelligence with us. I can't thank you enough. And your mission is making so many other people's dreams come true that Arnell and I just want to recognize and thank you for your work and your tireless commitment, markets, and just keeping in touch with everything that's going on. We'd love to stay in touch with you and have you back. So thank you so much, everyone. Arnell, you want to take us out on a message here?
Absolutely. This episode is brought to you today by Firebelly Marketing. At Firebelly, we help mission-based food and beverage brands bring people closer through social media marketing. So if you're ready to use social media to create more community and excitement around your food and beverage brand, go to firebellymarketing.com to learn more.
Thank you again, Nolan. So glad to have had you on the show.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Anytime you need me, let me know.
Thank you. And this has been another episode of the Firebelly Social Show, where we feature and thank and love on leaders of mission-driven food and beverage brands. And we hope to see you next time. And we'll talk to you then.
Thanks for listening to the Firebelly Social Show. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.